This is our Mitsubishi Pajero, and this is our setup in which we lived and travelled for a total of 14 months now. We're Millow Nouki, and we converted our Pajero Dakar into a proper overlanding vehicle, so we could really enjoy our journeys through the Middle East and then Northwest Africa. Our setup maybe isn't perfect and still a work in progress, but at this point we're really content with how basic yet versatile our setup is. It has enabled us to get to places far from civilization and spend days engulfed by the most beautiful and raw nature. So we'd love to show you our little home on 4 wheels, which maybe gives you some ideas and inspiration for your own conversion.
We'll show you our wood construction interior, why we decided against a rooftop tent, our electrics and water filtration system. The one thing we would never want to travel without, our cockpit and roof terrace.
So let's start out in the back, where we spend most of our time. We did the conversion all by ourselves out of plywood, and this is like our bed surface with our mattress, our self-made mattress, and here's our 5 kilogram propane bottle. That's enough for like 3 to 4 months while we're traveling. And here we have our bowls. We eat most of our meals just out of these basic bowls. You can eat muesli, lunch, dinner, you can just eat everything out of these. And here are our pots and our pans. For cooking you just pull this out, and there are 2 flames for cooking.
Our food storage. Here on top of the box is our little organizer with our nice forks, spoon and cooking utensils, and underneath is our regular food and oil, salt, chocolate spread, and underneath that is our big storage, which you can access easily by lifting this up. And then we have our fruits and vegetables here, and our instant noodles, also our canned food, pasta, things like that. On our door we mounted this collapsible desk, and underneath we have our little mirror, and we have our towel holder and a little pulley system for opening the door from inside, which otherwise isn't possible. So here we left space for muddy boots, our stool, our garbage and some towels, and also our fire extinguisher just in case. Our self-made mattress consists of a cover, which we then stuffed with alternating layers of coconut fiber and sheep wool, and then to this thickness we wanted it to be very thin, so we have a bit more headroom, and this is the only mattress we could easily do ourselves. So in here we have our personal things, our clothes and headphones, books, things like that, and also our little charging cables, headphones, a small collection of things.
We decided against a rooftop tent. In the beginning we just couldn't afford one, and later on, while traveling, we met many people that said they prefer sleeping inside their car, although they have a rooftop tent. Often it's too windy, sometimes too cold, and if it's loud you hear every sound. As soon as you put up your rooftop tent, it's clear you intend to sleep at the spot. A problem in cities or places where wild camping isn't welcome. We both noticed that we prefer to have more than just a thin cloth between us and the surroundings at night. The sense of feeling comparably safe makes longer journeys much more enjoyable.
Depending on where you sleep, it can be quite good to know that you could leave at any moment and don't first have to climb into the car.
So most of our electrics are housed in here. We have our cigarette lighter and our USB ports for charging, and also an indicator for our camper battery. We have two batteries, our starter and our camper battery, which are charged by the alternator. And we also have our dimmable LED lights. We made ourselves a curtain so the living area and the driver's cab can be separated from each other. The material blocks light quite well, so if we put our self-made insulations onto the windows, we can sleep on brightly lit parking lots.
At the same time, the insulation allows us to have our lights on inside when it's dark, but we still can't be seen from outside. The insulation blocks sound and cold also very effectively. It enables us to sleep at temperatures around 0 degrees without heating.
And usually we put our little fan under the blanket and install it by rolling down the window and slotting it in something like that. And then this goes into one of the cigarette lighter 12 volt. So let me plug that in. And they move quite a bit of air and are relatively quiet. From the outside they are filtered, and water resistant fans means we can, even in light rain, leave it in. If someone asks us what the one thing is that we took on our journey that gave us the most value, then it's this self-built insert with computer fans. It saved us during countless hot nights when the air was standing still and swarms of mosquitoes just waited for us to open the door. We wouldn't want to travel hot countries without this little fan to get some fresh air into the car.
Here we have our flexible storage area, or just the area where we chuck all our stuff that we don't need at the moment, like just pullovers, and we also have our installation here. And the blanket to lie under the car for messy work. Pullovers, blankets, backpack for hiking, laundry, thick winter jackets, hiking boots, and like our electric stuff, and binoculars, charging, just all the stuff you don't need that often but are quite practical to be easily accessible. The bucket, also for doing laundry. If you have like a river around, you can just fetch some water and wash your laundry in here.
This is our medicine box, and behind it we have one of the more questionable travel utensils. Our complete heavy garage manual, with an overview and description of every single screw and part in this car. They are great if you travel countries where you have no common language, to speak with people and to get help regarding the car. You can simply point at pictures. It's much easier than Google Translator or scrolling on a tiny phone screen. Luckily we didn't yet need them often.
Through the left passenger door we usually go in and out, so we leave our shoes here, and we have a bit of storage underneath, and our chairs here, and our red box with our Marquee, for example, and collapsible spade, mosquito spray, snorkeling equipment, and lots of little things you just need on a journey. And here we can see the side of our water tank, see the level, see how full it is. And to reach our water tank, lift this up, a little cutout here, and then you can unscrew this and see our pump.
Our filter is a little hidden and not so easily accessible. We've really noticed, everything that isn't easy to reach in the car isn't accessed often. So we put off checking our filters even if there's hardly any water coming. The water is pumped from the tank to this point and then separated in water that is to be filtered for drinking and water for washing. On our first journey we only had filtered water, but when our filters were clogged we couldn't use the water system anymore. Now it's more purpose-bound and less vulnerable.
The water from the tank comes in here, is filtered by a pre-filter, then an active charcoal filter and a ceramic filter, and then we have drinkable water.
So here in the front there's not much changed from the stock configuration. There's a touchscreen infotainment system which we can change from the camper battery, so we can listen to music even though the engine isn't running, and we can change it to our starter battery with this little switch here. And also we have our speedometer here, our GPS speedometer, which is quite handy because it also shows us the elevation, which is very interesting. And otherwise here is the CB radio, which we can show you outside the antenna. Also we have in our glove box our tiny inverter, so we can charge things with the 220 volts for our laptop and camera batteries. We also made this little tray for our rainy days when we're eating in front and want a place to rest our cereal bowl. We also have a little sticker with information about the car, like its length and height, also its ground clearance and weight. At a glance, they are up here. After our journey through the desert kingdoms, Saudi Arabia, Oman and the Emirates, we decided to invest in a proper ARB compressor to inflate our tires after driving on soft sand. We've not regretted it once to spend comparably much on just one device. The compressor is practical, high quality and small. We now deflate our tires much more often because we can easily refill them again.
Outside of our car we have our radio antenna, fastened to our roof rack. We don't have a ladder to the roof. You need to have the car unlocked and a door open to easily get onto the roof. It has the advantage that strangers, and mostly children, can't just hold onto the car or climb up.
This is our 10-liter water canister filled with water from petrol stations and wells for washing hands and not drinking water. These are our two 20-liter jerry cans with diesel. And here we have our roof rack box, which I'll show you a little closer.
In our aluminum roof box we have dirty tools, spare parts and stuff we don't need that often. But it's also a place that isn't so easily accessible, so we often put off fetching tools if we didn't need them immediately. It's not very off-roady, but we have a wooden little bench on our roof terrace. We don't use the terrace so often as we initially thought we would, but each time we sit up here, read, eat or watch stars, we really enjoy this otherwise purposeless little luxury.
Our huge and heavy recovery boards fit perfectly onto the terrace by coincidence, and we really like how they are well stored away but still easy to fetch. If we stay at one place for a bit longer, we usually charge our secondary or camper battery with the alternator, but if we use a lot of electricity for some reason, we have our portable solar panels, which we can placed in the sun if there was any. Connect them like this. We have our converter here. And this goes to the battery pole. This to the solar panel. And we have quite a bit of cable, so we can park our car in the shade and then leave the solar panels in the sun. One wouldn't think so, but our solar panel is one of the things we question taking on our next journey. In total, we maybe used it twice. Our camper battery is always charged while driving, and until now we've never really used up all energy. The Marquee is fastened to the back of our roof rack. We can only cook outside, so if it rains we have a problem. Luckily the Marquee makes it possible to cook if it's not raining cats and dogs.
Our table is mounted under the roof rack and held by a self-built aluminum frame, which in total cost us about 20 euros. We have a big sun sail that can be utilized all around the car with carabiners, straps and tent pegs. It's perfect to protect the car body from direct sun, so it stays nice and cool inside. But also if the sun is scorching and you still want to be outside a little, you can attach the sun sail to the Marquee. So this is our complete setup. We hope it will bring us to many more beautiful places, and we hope that showing you around our little home has given you some value and inspiration. See you soon!